Fantasy Philosophers is brought to you by fantasy-info.com.
I want to take a minute here to talk about our specific receivers keeper cheat sheet that we have for keeper leagues and just our wide receivers. I figured last season, because you could just see on the depth charts that it was really thin at wide receiver for really good core top end type receivers. And I knew that usually when a season like that happens, you're going to have a breakout of receivers that just kind of come out of the woodwork, and we did have some of those. Sidney Rice became a big name. Miles Austin just came out of nowhere, and if you ended up picking him up on the waiver wires, hey, that's a great pick to have, and he's a guy that you can keep for years. And there's a lot of leagues. Keeper, if you're in a keeper 12-team league, you may be keeping up to 3 receivers on your team there. So this is an important area. I don't know if you're going to have tight ends and a split, so you may only get to keep 2 receivers if you're in that type of situation. But you look at some of these receivers that are up and coming. I think a guy like Des Bryant is somebody you should try to jump all over. He's definitely having a really good offseason this year to go with being on a great team. He kind of fell into a really good situation, a la Randy Moss did when he had some of his troubles coming out of college. He fell down the boards lower than he should have been taken, and he went to the Minnesota Vikings, and that was a great offense for him. I don't think Bryant's going to have anything close to the success that Randy did, and I don't know if we'll ever see that again from a rookie like what Randy did that particular season. It was just a perfect situation for a guy that was ready to do it right now and was on the perfect team. But Bryant should have good success once he strips away the starting job from Roy Williams, and he'll keep it from there and should have himself a great career with the Cowboys. So there's a situation where a guy's still going to be good in that kind of offense with Tony. I think, Miles Austin and Bryant can hold a lot of value, even though there's both of them there. So that's a situation you want to look at, and there's a lot of younger guys. If you've got a Crabtree, if you've got a Hakeem Nicks, a Percy Harvin, I definitely keep a hold on those type of guys, that's for sure. But just keep this, cheat sheet in mind. I think some of the guys you need to pay attention to that might be out there on the boards right now. I look at guys like Jordy Nelson, James Jones, Green Bay receivers, as Donald Driver's got his 2 knee surgeries and may go down and not be ready to start or do it at all this year. A Jacoby Jones out of the Texans, maybe even a Johnny Knox who's starting to take over as a starter right now. Let's see if he keeps winning that with the Bears, and even a Chaz Schillens with the Raiders, who I think could have a good year in his 3rd season with that team. Those are guys that could be definitely available for you out there on the wires, and it's always good to stack more depth in your positions when it's time at your draft to take a look at some of those up-and-coming names for your team to help you out, not just this season, but potentially for years to come. So anytime you can hit a receiver like that, obviously a Miles Austin is a golden situation, but even a Sidney Rice, there's a guy we could have seen. Maybe he does get an opportunity to do a little bit better, and if he had the vision seeing that Brett Favre's there coming into that season, he took advantage of that. He had himself a really nice year. Steve Smith with New York, that's Steve Smith that we're talking about. He had himself a really nice year and was a guy worth keeping. So keep those things in mind when you're in your draft, and hopefully these 80 receivers that we have listed here is a good depth for you to kind of keep in mind some of the names that are out there for this upcoming season. And once again, we just want to let you know that if you're listening to this out there on the internet, maybe on YouTube for a video, we've got this, what we're talking about here, available for you. There's a link. It should be a link at the bottom of where this video is at, right underneath the text. And you can click on that link. You can go over and you can download this information that we're talking about. You can print it out for yourself to use at your draft. We have that available for you. And if you're also listening to this on a podcast, maybe like Podbean, Media, any one of those, Blueberry, any of those type of places, that should also be incorporated. There should be an article with this as well, and there should be some type of link there for you to get back to the specific page that we're talking about for this cheat sheet or mock draft that we happen to be talking to you about right now. Good luck this season, and we hope that this information helps you have success.
For more fantasy football information, go to fantasy-info.com and sign up for our free e-newsletter. Good luck in your 2010 Fantasy Football League. As an added bonus, the Fantasy Info guys will include their 5 secret tips for success in